Hey there, Joe, back with you, and we're going to take a look at a castle shot. This is in Glenveigh National Park in Ireland. This is Glenveigh Castle, and even though the exposure is good, look at the histogram. You can see it's from all the way left to all the way right. Obviously, there are problems. The shadows are too dark. Highlights are a little bright, but mostly we've got some distortions here because of the wide-angle lens. Let's see, what was this shot with? This was a shot at 16 millimeters, so yeah, that's pretty wide. So what do we do? Well, this is going to be a two-parter. We're going to have to do part of it in Lightroom and then part of it in Photoshop. So let's get started. Let's go right up to the basic panel. And obviously the shadows are too dark, so let's just bring those up all the way, and it's looking a lot better already. But let's bring the highlights down a bit as well. Yeah, I kind of like them there. And now let's bring up the overall exposure. And I think that's looking a heck of a lot better. Let's add a little bit of definition to this shot. We'll add a little bit of texture, a little bit of clarity. Does it need dehaze? I don't think so. But we will increase the vibrance a little bit and add a little overall saturation. And I think we're looking pretty good. The sky color's a little off for me. So let's come down to Hue, Saturation, Luminance. We'll start with Hue. Click on the adjustment tool, and I'm going to push up. I think it's going to need 10 or 12. Yeah, that looks like a better blue for that. Saturation looks okay. Luminance. Let's see what happens if we darken it a little bit. Just a smidge. So I'm going to make a virtual copy of this. Command apostrophe, so we have one that we can just bounce back and forth to. And I'm going to reset it so you can see we started there and we're there already. But obviously the elephant in the room here is this part of the tower on the right hand side that is so skewed. So let's see how far we can take this in Lightroom as a correction. So we're going to go to transform. And let's start with vertical. So I'm going to drag this to the left and we can see, well, that's starting to straighten things out. But as we've done that, we've cut off a lot of the top and we have more bottom than we need. But now the tower on the right side is pretty straight. Let's back it off a little bit, something about like that. All right, so what are the problems? Well, the X offset is fine. The Y offset is off. So let's bring that down so we can maintain as much of the bottom and the top as possible. I think something like that. I'm also going to adjust the aspect ratio a little bit. Let's actually spread things out a little bit horizontally. And when we do that, we're losing a little bit of image. So I'm going to bring down the scale a little bit too. Probably don't need to because I see if we let the constrained crop happen where it wants to, it's going to crop all the way in here. So let's do that manually. So let's come up to crop right up here and we'll decide where we want the crop to take place because that's going to vary a little bit depending on how high we come up on the bottom. So I think about right there. Do we need all this top? Let's cut down on the amount of leaves there a little bit as well and hit enter. And again, when you consider that we started there, we're now here, that was a pretty quick fix. However, yeah, that tower on the right is still a problem. We're going to have to send this into Photoshop. So let's go up to Photo, Edit in Photoshop. So here we are in Photoshop. I'm going to do a Command J or a Control J to make a duplicate of the background. And then I'm going to get the lasso tool, this one right here, which is also the L key. And I'm going to drag around the offending spots. I'm going to drag around, pretty much this entire right side of the image, and I'm going to copy paste, Command C, Command V, because I want to do some changes with the warp tool on this. So let's go to there, edit, transform, warp. This is my favorite tool for doing these kind of fixes. Now to help things along, I'm going to bring up the rulers, which is Command or Control R, and I'm going to bring ruler lines down to the spots that need to line up. So here we have the bottom of this, and I think that's going to really be the biggest problem. So I'm just going to click right where the problem is, and I'm going to drag it down so that they match on the left and the right. Now we've got a little distortion going on in here, so let's counter that by bringing the middle back up, which will bring this up, but leave the bottom edge alone. And I think that's looking pretty good. We've got some problems going on here in the castle where there's a break here. So let's bring that back up so that those two things line up again. And we're not done yet. We're going to have to do a little bit more stretching on this. So let's hit enter on that. So let's take a look at our before and after. So there's before, there's after. And you can see, though, we have a break up in here. Let's zoom in a bit. So you can see we've got a problem up top here with the leaves not quite matching. So let's get the lasso tool. And I'm going to pick the spots that got kind of broken up a little bit. And we're going to just go to Edit, Content Aware Fill. So I'm going to let it do its default and just hit OK. And there we go. That quickly, it fixes that. And if you look before and after, there's our before and after tower. And really, it's looking pretty good. Let's hit Command 0 to see the whole thing. Let's get rid of the rulers. And let's go under View. Let's get rid of our guides or our extras. And we started there, and we're there. Now, we still have a slight problem. You see the line of this wall here has got a curve in it now. So we need to fix that as well. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to take everything we've done and put it in a new layer. So to do that, hold down the Alt key, click on the layer menu, and choose Merge Visible. This gives us all our layers below. Let's get the lasso again. And this time I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to take this much and we're going to copy and paste that. Let's try the warp tool again. So we'll go to Edit, Transform, Warp. And this is down a little bit. Let's see what happens if we just bring that up and bring that down. Let's bring this line down a little bit. Yeah, I think that's what it needed. Now that's looking a lot straighter, and we'll bring this line up. Can also bring this up a little bit more. Got to be careful, though, because it's going to cause a break here. I might have to do something a little more local there. Yeah, let's leave that alone. And now we're going to use the lasso tool again. We're going to select this much so we can really zoom in and go to Edit, Transform, Warp one more time. Now I can take this one little piece and move it independently. There we go. Bring that up a little bit and we'll hit it. And if we turn that on and off, you can see now we've got a little bit of a perspective fix in that. And I think that is the answer. I think that's looking pretty good. We've got a little bit of stuff over here we're going to have to crop, but let's send this back into Lightroom for our final edits. So Command S will send our entire image right back into Lightroom. So here's our after edit. Let's just do a little bit of a vignette on here. I'm thinking about, -12 or so. Yeah, I think that's good. And let's go to full screen. And there's our image edit. Oh, got to do a little bit of a crop. Yeah, a little bit of a crop. Let's take down the leaves a little bit. They're a little too strong on the top. And we'll trim off that little piece on the edge that we lost. And I think that's looking better. There we go. Let's look at that full screen. So there's our edit with our towers reconfigured so they were straighter. And when you compare that, we started with this. And with a little bit of Lightroom help and a little bit of Photoshop magic with the warp tool, we turned that into that. And I think that's a happy result. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got something there you can put to use. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you online again soon. Bye-bye.